Hello everyone and welcome to Southeast Mk2 Golfs. We are having to go a little bit off track really for what we wanted to do, but we are going to be going through how to change your brake lines and a power steering line. I hadn't intended to do this, but when we took the engine out I needed to take out the power steering pump, and when doing that I had to disconnect the lines. Unfortunately one of the lines got chewed up quite badly because it was so seized in and wouldn't be able to reuse it. Also I wanted to change the flexi brake lines for some braided units. Unfortunately when I took them off it actually twisted the copper lines, so those were no good either. New brake lines required. Let's go through it. What I wanted to do today was replace the flexi brake lines because it was an MOT advisory on my last one because some of them have got some hairline cracks in. So I went to replace them with these lovely new shiny hell ones, which are braided lines, which should mean that there's less fade because the there's nowhere for the rubber to expand when the brakes are under pressure. However, when we went to undo them, unfortunately it started spinning and twisting the metal brake lines. So they are going to be replaced. Probably a good job anyway because they're a little bit tatty and they're a little bit all over the place, so I think that will tidy up the rest of the engine bay as well. We'll do that before the engine goes in. For this job we have enlisted my friend Mark, who is a self-proclaimed pro at putting these brake lines together. No pressure. Thanks. For this job on a Mk2 Golf you need an 11mm brake line spanner.
If this comes off like normally, I am really annoyed.
Because then we wouldn't really have needed to do this, really, would we?
No, not really, but...
When you went to change them, it looked like it was twisting, didn't it?
It definitely was twisting. Yeah, it's still twisting.
Oh, is it?
That's a good sign.
Okay. So it's a worthwhile job, this one, then.
Yeah. Good. It's going to snap off in a minute.
And that is what I mean by it was twisting. Look at that.
Copper brake lines made up, they look so much better. Mark has done a great job at bending them to run across the bulkhead and look so much smarter. They come out of the master cylinder really smartly too, and then when they get to the other side they look just as good. I'm much happier. Not only that, but they will be safer too. We couldn't run them with the twisted ends, it just wasn't going to be a good idea, especially with a VR6 under the bonnet. We can now connect the braided flexi lines to the calipers. Those eagle-eyed viewers may notice that I did paint them too, using some caliper enamel paint.
Now we've got our lovely new shiny copper brake lines. Unfortunately, this slave cylinder for the clutch pipe looks absolutely pants. So, time to replace it with this new one, a nice flexi from Hell. It is an old power steering pump, which unfortunately the impeller was a little bit wobbly, but when I removed the pipe, the high pressure line damaged the thread. I don't think it has been changed in a very long time. Yeah, as you can see, that is well and truly mullered. So, new pump, lovely. However, to get to it, I need to change the high pressure line, which you follow it back. You go, oh, that's not too bad, that's not too bad, that's not too bad, that's not too bad. And then you go, oh, where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go? Oh, of course, it goes to the most awkward one. Down the back. Well, that's not going to focus because it is so awkward. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I've somehow got to change that. Oh, lovely. 18mm spanner required of all the sizes typically. Now this really is one of the more awkward bolts you can get to. I mean, because the subframe is still on, I'm going to go round the back of the power steering line and try and hook the spanner on there, and then just wiggle it around. So with the spanner attached round the back of that other power steering line, I'm going to use my fingers there to hold it in place, and then it is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, of course. However, you've got to remember that you are not doing it from that angle, so you've got to imagine as if you are looking at the bolt for that to be working. Otherwise, you'll be tightening it up from this angle. We're off! Oh, that was horrible. Now I've got to try and work out how to thread it out of this maze and then thread the new one in exactly the same way. So I am at Norton's Hydraulics Limited in Braintree. They are going to do a repair on my power steering hose using a new part from a Mark IV, which unfortunately didn't fit after I bought it, and they're going to use the ends and cannibalize it to make my Mark II existing power steering lines work. Let's see how this looks. So after a wait of only about half an hour, they've made up the new pipes, managing to salvage the old one so it should still fit along the same lines along the steering rack. Look at that. And also they've got adjustment by having these nuts on, so I can adjust the angle. I'm very pleased with that. Thank you very much. I'll be back again at some point in the future, I reckon. So basically that should go that way and through that pipe there, and the way it currently sits with it mounted, it will sit proud. It will sit either proud like that, which is exactly where the exhaust would go, or it would angle down like that, which therefore means the other part would end up sort of angled down here and then would foul the chassis leg. So yeah, I just need it so that it's got more of an angle on, where is it? That bit there. See if I can get that to focus. Yeah, more of an angle on that bit there. Maybe even using the old part if we can. There we go, that is the nut of the power steering line situated into the steering rack. So now I've just got to somehow tighten it up. I just need tiny hands because there's not a lot of room. So with that tightened into the steering rack, now I just need to make sure that these are going to be tightened up. So just tighten those against each other. And then I've got another nut there as well, and those were just the adjustment points which the hydraulic shop put in place. I am very pleased. So that was a job that I hadn't really planned to do during this engine work, but hey, it looks all the better for it. I've got lovely nice new brake lines, lovely nice new power steering line, and a new clutch line as well. It's going to make the inside of the engine bay look a lot better. And now it's time to build the engine. See you next time on Southeast Mark II Golfs.